Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Ruffman. I am your host, John Ruffman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going. As I like to point out each and every day, it expands our base. For every action, there is a reaction. And we are now hearing reaction to Donald Trump's blanket pardons of January 6th criminals. That's what they were, convicted in a court, very often pleading guilty. And yet, what we are seeing now is the reaction, not of normal Americans, that is, people who study this every single day, who are outraged, but by the judges. The judges. You cannot erase the blood shed that day, said one judge. And what we're watching now is a reaction that is coming almost universally from people who respect the rule of law. When Donald Trump ran for president this time around, he ran as a law and order candidate. He said he would defend the men and women in blue. He articulated clearly his desire to reduce crime in America, particularly in our major cities. He thundered about the lawlessness that took place during the summer of the reaction to so many issues that we faced, particularly in cities like Portland and Seattle. I must say to you that respect for law is something that is so important. And yet what we heard from Republicans in the House and Senate was essentially support for Donald Trump's use of pardons. The excuse given was, well, he has the power and he's exercising it. Would you have exercised it? They were asked. And most of them declined really to answer. They said, that is the president's prerogative. For the Republican Party, it is really a critical moment because the question becomes, and it's a serious question, how the American people will react, particularly in days ahead, when those who have been released from prisons, those who were convicted of seditious conspiracy, those who attempted to obstruct the counting of the electoral vote in 2021, whether or not the American people will react in a vigorous, appropriate fashion. So that's my take on where we're at. It is the reaction of the judges which need to be understood. And I don't want to read to you their reactions. Just Google reactions of judges to January 6th pardons. You get it all. You see it all from every corner, from liberals and conservatives. So I say this to you because the rule of law is something that is now at stake. And we see something else. Dealing with foreign policy. Donald Trump threatened Vladimir Putin. He did it in a gentle but firm fashion. And the question is, how will Vladimir Putin react to those kinds of remarks by Donald Trump? And when will they meet? And will there be any progress on Ukraine? It's interesting when we talk about all the other issues that Ukraine seems very distant, but it isn't to the Europeans. And there is an unease among the Europeans. What will Donald Trump do in terms of Ukraine? And yes, what will he do in terms of Greenland? And what will he do in terms of Panama and the Panama Canal? All of these questions are being asked. Now, the new Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, is about to depart on a trip in Central and South America. We are told he will go to Panama. How will he be received? What will the reaction be? All of these questions. Well, and then what is happening in Davos, Switzerland? Donald Trump will address the economic forum there virtually. He's not going in person, but he is going to speak this morning. And it will be a fascinating speech because everyone is on tenterhooks. Will he come down hard? Will he move aggressively? Will he send a message relative to tariffs? And let me be clear, The tariff question is one which hangs heavy over Europe, Canada, and Mexico. All nations wonder, what will the United States do and how will it respond if tariffs are imposed? Well, let's be clear that if tariffs are imposed, the prices of our goods will go up because for every action, there is a reaction. And clearly, if we employ tariffs as a weapon, well, the Europeans and our neighbors here in North America will react as well. There are so many issues which Donald Trump now confronts. And so I will be interested to see how that evolves. There is also a question about what will happen as Ramaswamy leaves his position dealing with government efficiency. He is planning to run for governor of Michigan, and it'll be a fascinating moment to see in a year and a half how his campaign proceeds. Will he, in fact, be able to win a victory? It may be a referendum on Donald Trump himself. All of these questions hang heavy. And of course, we are dealing with a major issue of aid to California. Donald Trump again has articulated that he may use the aid which should go to people affected by fire as a weapon. He wants different controls on California water, and there are other problems that he has. And so he will shortly be coming to California. He will meet with Gavin Newsom. He will meet with Mayor Bass. He will meet with all sorts of officials here in California. And there is another question hanging over everything, and that is the question of sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. Donald Trump made clear that he will not give help to sanctuary cities and states. Can he enforce it? And of course, the question of the border. 1,500 American military personnel are being dispatched to the border. What will their function be? What will their job be? And will it impact the question of what happens at our border? Now, you might say to me, John, you're raising so many different questions. And you're right, I am. And unfortunately, we don't have time to delve into all of them. But we will talk more and more about these essential issues. I received an email this morning from a longtime KGO listener who said, John, now more than ever, we need KGO. We need you on the air. And Bruce, if you're listening, thank you so much for your message. And it's true. One of the things which talk radio has done is to provide a vehicle for our expression. If there is no safety valve, and I thought talk radio served as a safety valve, how will the pressure that is constantly being placed on all of us be addressed? I pose this question respectfully, but firmly. There will be a lot to react to with Donald Trump. I spoke yesterday here in San Francisco. People are anxious. They're either for or against, but they understand that we are living in historic times. The 100 days of Franklin Roosevelt's first administration, well, they were dramatic. But the drama being generated by Donald Trump today, in the first week of his second term as president, boy, oh boy, we are all riveted, and rightly so. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. Make sure to follow along and let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing an episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow and expand, which of course is our goal. You can interact with me on Facebook, on LinkedIn. Many of you email me. I read everything, and I try to respond as best I can. And now, a special appreciation to Gogo Zoger, the wonderful producer of this podcast. Gogo, thanks for continuing to do a great job. I am John Rothman. I will be back tomorrow, and we will continue our journey around the political world. See you then.